The Terrible Warriors are heading to Con Bravo on the last weekend of July, Friday the 28th until Sunday the 30th. On one of those days, there will be a panel, and that panel will be the final episode to the campaign you're about to hear. Because today, on the Terrible Warriors, we dive into the apocalypse world. And there isn't much to say in this first episode, because we haven't picked our characters yet. We haven't formed the world that we're to play in. And so there is only the Psychic Maelstrom swirling around. So let's peel back the mists together and discover what kind of world we have landed in. The first part in our mega game of Apocalypse World. This is part 1 of the Toronto campaign, and they are your Terrible Warriors. I am your Master of Ceremonies for the Tuesday campaign because we're doing things a little bit differently right now. You are listening to the first week of a series of campaigns that are going to, or a series of adventures that are going to run through the month of July. On Tuesday, we are playing Apocalypse World. On Thursday, we are also playing Apocalypse World. Now, right now at the beginning of the month, these campaigns are being recorded separately. We're actually recording it before the Edmonton crew went out and played their game. They're going to have a bit of a heads up on what happens to our game, but they're going to run independently of each other. And the goal is at the very end of this month, 4 weeks from now, we are going to be at Con Bravo, and we're going to record the final episode live at a panel. It'll come out the following week on the podcast, where we are going to wrap up the story of both the Tuesday and Thursday campaigns. And what's really scary is Apocalypse World is completely improvised on the spot. So there's no way of planning ahead how these story threads are going to come together.
So really, we have 4 weeks before it crashes and burns.
No,
Got it.
The Toronto crew's recording first, so we can do whatever we want and let that be Derek's problem.
That'd be future Derek's problem. Yeah.
That's future Derek's problem.
Aww.
That is really then Justin's future problem 4 weeks from now at Con Bravo when he has to figure out how
Justin's
to make this all work.
gonna hate us, guys.
This is
That's right.
exactly how.
Con Bravo.
Now I know how
God.
they felt at the end of Battlestar Galactica and in the final season of Lost. I'm going to be able to really relate to Daniel Lindelof.
Past Justin hates future Derek and future Dustin, so this is gonna be
I
good.
didn't know we were going to be dealing with time travel in this game.
So before we introduce the game, as we get into it, I'm Justin Eacock, as you already know, and sitting around my table, starting at my left, your right.
Oh, that's me. I am Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, Dr. Terrawat, better known through smaller groups of people as Connell Macbeth.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Connell.
I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Connell.
Aren't we all?
I'm Steve Saylor, or as sometimes known on YouTube as Blind Gamer.
Yeah, welcome back, Steve.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yay, we love you. Hey. Hi, everybody. It's Cassie D20 Love Chew. How's it going? Are you looking forward to Con Bravo? You should be, because we're going to be there. And I'm staff, so I gotta be there.
Head down to the indie section.
Come check out the indie game section, which I head up. It's gonna be a fun, awesome time.
So
Be there.
So here's your
Hamilton
opportunity.
Convention Center, the butt end of July.
So here's your opportunity though to ask. Here's your opportunity though to ask for listeners to give you stuff.
The butt end of
Wait,
July.
what? What do you
Because
mean?
you're going to be at Con Bravo. You're already saying you're going to be at Con Bravo.
Yeah.
You can now get your listeners now to be like, hey,
you
bring me
have 4
X.
weeks to find all the Kirby merchandise you can find.
And then give it to Cassie.
Oh,
And
wait,
then
no.
give it all to Cassie.
I don't even know how I would accept what.
She was, don't do that. Don't do that.
That's really
Just show it to our
sweet.
panel and
Please
pick up a
do
That's
that.
postcard.
really,
Please,
really
please,
sweet,
I'm
but
just
I don't,
begging
I
you.
don't even know what.
All of the Cassie plus Kirby fan art that you can muster.
Oh,
You have 4 weeks. You have 4
it's
weeks.
going to be so adorkable. I love it.
And rounding up the group,
We'll make a folder. It's Brie Poison. Hi, I'm still here. I'm kind of sharing Justin's mic, so I'm kind of like leaning
We're all
over
sharing a
him
mic
and
today.
screaming into his mic.
and I'm going to edit in later Tom when he arrives. He's a little bit late. He's stuck in traffic, but we had to start anyways without him because we've only got 4 weeks left. So we, when he shows up, we'll have him record it separately and it'll be like, hi, I'm Tom. Beep, and we'll go back into the game.
And here we have Tom.
Hi, I'm Tom.
Oh, is this
So we're finally playing Apocalypse World.
Awkward moment of silence while we find a place to
Is this your edit point?
So
put that in.
I started
Oh my
the
God.
Powered by Apocalypse game trend on this show when we first played Monster Hearts, which actually it was one of Bree's
hey,
first
shit.
games. Well, it was and it was Steve. You got
I hate that
history
game.
with
I
we almost
really hate
let-
that
we
game to
almost
this
let
day.
Steve-
Cassie's also played. Now you played with the Sprawl, but you also played Dogs in the Vineyard.
I did.
And Dogs in the Vineyard is what the guy who made Apocalypse World made before he made Apocalypse World.
Yeah.
And so now we're finally getting all these Powered by Apocalypse games, Masks and the Sprawl and Monster Hearts and Worldwide Wrestling, the RPG, and all these other ones that we've done. We're now going to, this is the core game. This is where it all started. But we're not playing the original Apocalypse World. We're playing the Apocalypse World version 2.0.
Oh shit!
This is the one that just came out from the Kickstarter, and so we're putting this one together. And in a way, this is like full circle. This is after this game, I might not play a Powered by Apocalypse game for a while because I've done like
We've done like 5
so
over the course of our show.
which is like half of our year. So
True, fair enough.
so we're doing this, and we thought it would be kind of fun because we've done so many good games with Powered by Apocalypse that if we did Apocalypse World, we would team up with the Thursday campaign, and I'll let Derek handle that if you come back on Thursday on how they're going to do their things because Derek doesn't run Powered by Apocalypse games the way I do. He's used to like Gumshoe and Fate and all this other stuff. So his game style is going to be very different. And what's really nervous for me is at Con Bravo, Derek and I are going to co-Master of Ceremonies.
Oh,
We're
shit.
going to run together against more adversarial.
bring
leagues.
popcorn, guys.
Against,
That's gonna get
Survivor.
really
Yeah.
interesting.
Get ready for a fight to the death at Con
Yeah.
Bravo.
Because we don't know the panel yet. We don't know when it's happening. For all we know, it's happening at the exact same time as Connell's panel or Derek's panel or when Cassie's busy. So I'm just ready to be
I don't know.
your
No.
character's dead.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting for them to get back to me.
I'm hoping I'll mostly be fine because now starting this year, thank goodness, I have a co-coordinator
Yeah.
in Jameson Gajid Fullerton.
Awesome. So.
Are you eating a giant invisible sandwich?
We will spend each hour. Well, no, I'm just trying to keep us in time. I want to keep us in time. We'll spend each hour. We'll talk a
folks at
little more
home.
about Con Bravo. We'll have a chance to do that throughout this recording, and we'll be able to do one for each episode.
Oh, sweet.
But I
Yeah.
would like to get into the game. I would
Oh,
like
yeah.
to
Yes, right,
introduce you to the Apocalypse
Oh, yeah,
world.
that thing we do.
And what we want to do is sort of set this up the way every other Apocalypse game is done. They have playbooks that play as tropes that are set up that fit the theme of this world. Now, I know you've already picked out your playbook and you really started filling it in, but let's pretend like we haven't yet. We're going to introduce
Well, I haven't
the
filled this in at all.
characters that we
Anything.
have.
I
So
just literally
I
grabbed
left them
this
all
'cause I
out on the
wanted to play
table
the
in front
thing.
of you. If you all want to take at least 2, maybe 3, and hand a few over to me, we're each going to let the listener know
Sorry.
which characters we have to choose from. And then
Oh.
we'll reveal which ones we've actually chosen to play, which will then set up the world.
We're not reading the
we have.
descriptions for all of them.
We're going to read just the part where it says introducing, that little paragraph, the blurb at the top page on the back. So who would like to go first? Or shall I, as your Master of Ceremonies?
If you would like to go first, you
Yeah.
certainly may.
So the first character I picked up is called the Hocus. And I would hope that you will all read this in your most apocalyptic delivery.
All right, I have
could go
I have an idea, and it's gonna be real dumb. But here we go.
Now, it should be crystal fucking obvious that the gods have abandoned Apocalypse World. Maybe in the Golden Age, with its one nation under God and it's in God we trust, maybe then the gods were real. Fucked if I know. All I know is that now they're gone, daddy, gone. My theory is that these weird hocus fuckers, when they say the gods, what they really mean is the miasma left over from that explosion of psychic hate and desperation that gave Apocalypse World its birth. Friends, that's our creator now. So that's the character of the Hocus. What they get is a cult. If you
Oh,
play
shit,
as the
son.
Hocus. You
Oh,
get to have
sweet.
followers that you can commune with at the beginning of each hour. And they're going to reveal to you situations maybe beyond the perceptions of the rest of the group, as well as they work a little bit like a gang, but not so much. You can't send them out on missions, but they follow you and they follow you as the Hocus. The Hocus brings in a whole lot of Psychic Maelstrom fuckery into the game. And if you want to get weird, the Hocus is a good place to start. Connell, who did you pick up?
I got the Chopper. Oh man, you can do this like the opening to a game. Introducing the Chopper. Apocalypse world is all scarcity. Of course it is. There's not enough wholesome food, not enough untainted water, not enough security, not enough light, not enough electricity, not enough children, not enough hope. However, the golden age past did leave us two things: enough gasoline and enough bullets. Come the end, I guess the fuckers didn't need them like they thought they would. So, Chopper, there you are. Enough for you. Boom.
That's the chopper. That was scary. That's what that was.
So the chopper is all about the gang. They're not only gonna get a motorcycle and get weapons, but they also get a gang as default, and you're the head of that gang. So if you want to be playing with a group of criminals, you want to be playing with a group of mercenaries or saviors, you can pick what they are. Now, the gang kind of work like equipment, and you can use them to attack as weapons, but these are weapons with feelings, and I'll be keeping track of them, and they're going to be written down from my side as the rules have them as a threat, because if you push them a little too hard, the loyalty of your gang might turn on you, and what happens when one person wants to step up and be like, I'm in charge now. So part of the chopper is, yes, you have a gang, and yes, you can use them against the other raiding bandits, but push them too hard, they might push back. Because they're all going to have names, and they're all going to have backstories, and they're all going to have feelings. They're just going to be NPCs that, believe me, are going to be disposable if you want to use them that way. Steve, who did you pick up?
I have the driver. So introducing the driver. Came the apocalypse, and the infrastructure of the Golden Age tore apart. Roads heaved and split. Lines of life and communication shattered. Cities cut off from one another. Raged like smashed anthills, then burned, then fell. A few living still remember it. Every horizon scorching hot with civilization in flames. Light to put out the stars and moon, smoke to put out the sun. In Apocalypse world, the horizons are dark, and no roads go to them.
So the driver's interesting. Yes, they drive, but also as a character, they are the most loner of the group. They are always going somewhere else.
Mad Max, basically.
And so where most characters will get history from each other, the driver actually won't get a lot of history with other people. They're exactly like Mad Max. They're the wandering traveler. They're just here before they go somewhere else. And so because of that, if you're going to play the driver, you got a little bit more pressure on you to make ties with players and to make yourself indispensable to them before your character just decides to fuck off. And so while they get a car, they also are the only ones that can make, like, by default, a battle. Like, my other car is a tank is their move, and you can make a battle rig that isn't your regular car that you drive or your regular motorcycle. You've got something else that you have stashed away that you can bring out for big moments. And so you got your war rig.
A battle bus.
So you can bring that out.
We need to have that.
But beyond just also being a driver in a badass battle rig, you're also the loner of the group. You're the one who's the most detached out of everyone if you choose the driver.
Bring out the fun bus.
I swear to God, Conway, you got this look on your face.
You were bubbling. You were like, I gotta say this line.
Yeah, exactly. Except I expected it to be like, yeah, but can it have a mustache?
Which zombie movie was it where they had the bus with the chainsaws on the side?
Oh, fuck.
It wasn't the Dawn of the Dead remake.
It wasn't the Dawn of the Dead remake, no. It wasn't 28 Days Later. But yeah, they were stuck in a mall. And as they were getting out of the mall, they built like a small bus with like a bunch of.
Isn't that the original Dawn of the Dead?
No, it wasn't.
Cassie,
Well, it was
which
the Tom Savini movie, I think.
Which character did you pick up, Cassie?
So I've got here the angel. We're trying something fun here. Mm-hmm. When you're lying in the dust of apocalypse world, guts are spilled. For whom do you pray? The gods. They're long gone. Your beloved comrades? Fuckers all. Or you wouldn't be here to begin with. Your precious old mother? She's a darling, but she can't put an intestine back inside so it'll stay. No! You pray for some grinning kid, or veteran, or just someone with a heart shocker, and a hand with sutures, and a 6-pack of morphine. And when that someone comes, that's an angel. Shoutouts to people who can recognize that voice from Steven Universe.
Okay, wait. You guys, wait. We have to stop recording because it's not going to get better than that.
And that's the season, everybody. Con Bravo canceled. See you in September.
I'm
Guys, I think we need to step up our game.
So the angel is your healer. If you don't have a healer, it's actually, I don't have any responsibility as the Master of Ceremonies to provide a healer if no one chooses the angel.
Yeah.
Now, I may put a medic in town who'll offer some barter, or I might just be like, there's no healing in this game. You can all just, you can all just hurt.
That works
but
for me.
also, if you bring in the angel, you have a healer, which means that encourages me to bring on the hurt to give the angel something to do. So it's going to also up the danger factor in the game just by having the angel present. The angel, beyond just also helping to heal people, because of the nature of healing, if you hurt someone, they get history on you. But when you heal someone, you get history on them. There's nothing more intimate than having someone in your arms that you're caring for, and you get to learn a lot from them. I'll explain exactly how history works in the game as we get into it, but if you remember Monster Hearts with strings or Heat in Worldwide Wrestling, it's similar to that. It's a unique stat that is only used with your relationship to that character. But we'll explain that in a minute. But the angel is as much about healing as they are about history.
Oh, cool.
Son of a bee with
So
an
who did
itch.
you pick, Bree?
So I have the Skinner.
Ooh.
Even in the filth of Apocalypse World, there's food that isn't death on a spit, music that isn't shrieking hyenas, thoughts that aren't afraid, bodies that aren't used meat, sex that isn't rutting, dancing that's real. There are moments that are more than stench, smoke, rage, and blood. Anything beautiful left in this ugly-ass world, Skinners hold it. Will they share it with you? What do you offer them?
So remember when I mentioned the angel was all about history? Oh, let me introduce you to the Skinner. If you bring a Skinner into the game...
Skinner?
The Skinners
Super
are...
Nintendo Chalmers. Sorry.
Yeah, but in this world, the Skinners are the pimps. The Skinners are they're the badgers in this world. They're the ones who have all the goods, and they are the ones who've got all the power, and everything that you want,
Yeah,
you
like-
get from a Skinner.
Like Aurora Borealis localized entirely in your kitchen at this time of year.
Localized entirely within your kitchen.
So if you bring a Skinner into the game, you're bringing in a character that has all the favors to hand out. They live with promises and debts and getting people on their side. I'll do this for you, but soon you're gonna have to do this for me. And if there's an economy in this world, it's run by the Skinners. So that's a character if you want to play someone who's got their finger in every pie. We're now going to go back to, or we can go to Tom. What was a character that you picked up, Tom?
I picked the Gunlugger. All right, I'm trying to decide whether I should do a stupid voice for this or not.
The
Should we-
You gotta try
Okay.
to beat Cassie.
The answer is consider that we're also getting into the mood of Apocalypse World.
Yeah.
But if
Oh, okay.
that's the mood you want it to be,
Apocalypse World is a mean, ugly, violent place. Law and society have broken down completely.
Why did I invite
What's yours is yours only while you can hold it in your hands. There's no peace. There's no stability but what you carve inch by inch out of the concrete and dirt and then defend with murder and blood. Sometimes the obvious move is the right one.
the Gunlugger is the simplest character in this game.
It's
I'm
like
just
the
not gonna
nerd
react to
from
it.
Robot Chicken, but evil.
So the Gunlugger is maybe the on the surface the simplest character. They are guns and blood and just following their impulses. They're the ones who are going to get a lot of weaponry. They're going to get a lot of strength in that. You bring a Gunlugger to this game and you're going to be bringing combat into this game because that's just what they want to do. That said, they may seem simple, but that gives us a real opportunity to then cut through non-player characters and show the world through the Gunlugger's crosshairs. And they have an opportunity to bring in a lot of complexity into the game through what is, on paper, at first glance, a two-dimensional character that's anything but. What's the next one you got, Connell?
You gotta try to get back into my Ron Perlman. Or the closest thing I can manage.
Who did you get?
Fucking introducing the Maestro D. In the golden age of legend, there was this guy named Maestro. He was known for dressing up real dap, and wherever he went, the people had a much lux tune. There was this other guy named Maitre D. He was known for dressing up real dap too, and wherever he went, the people had all the food they could eat and the fanciest of it. Here in Apocalypse World, those two guys are dead. They died, and the fat sizzled off them. They died same as Much Luck's tune and all you can eat. The Maestro D, now he can't give you what those guys did, or what they could, but fuck it. Maybe he can find you a little something to take off the edge.
So the
I like
Maestro
that.
D is very different from the Skinner. The Maestro D falls into a category of other players that get buildings. The Chopper and the Hocus, they get gangs. They get a cult, they get a biker gang. The Maestro D gets an establishment. They get a business that they run, and a business that they offer to the other players at a cost, and a place where you can escape from the Apocalypse World. The Maestro D, where the Skinner is all about giving you what you want, the Maestro D is about distracting you about all the things you don't have. So it's a little bit of a different side of the same coin. And they are... oh, God, they're Crowley, basically.
Yeah.
They're showing up and going like, we can make a deal. What do you want? I can help you out with some of this, some of that. They've got resources, and they get to build an establishment as part of their character creation.
That's cool.
And where that establishment is or how mobile it is up to the players. And now, another thing, too, don't worry when you're picking your character of like, well, if I got to have this, then it means, if I'm going to be the driver, you're going to have, I'm not going to, I'll only remove your vehicle if it really calls for the narrative, but for the most part, you will keep the things you have that make your character important. You're not going to be an angel without your angel kit. You're not going to be a Maestro D without your establishment. You can't be a Hocus without your cult. So those will then be part of the story. You will have that establishment. You don't have to worry about how that then works into my greater story arc, because I don't have one. My arc is exploring the characters that you create and then peeling back the curtain and seeing what world we found ourselves dropped into. Steve, the final character you have.
Excuse me. I have introducing the Hardholder. There is no government, no society in Apocalypse World. When Hardholders ruled whole continents, when they waged war on the other side of the world instead of with the hold across the burn flat. When the armies numbered in the hundreds of thousands and they had fucking boats to hold their fucking airplanes on. That was the golden age of legend. Now anyone with a concrete compound and a gang of gun luggers can claim the title. What other authority is there?
So the Hardholder is whatever's left of the government.
Guy's got a base.
Yeah, he's got a base. He's got he doesn't just have an establishment. He's not just running a business. The Hardholder will start with a hardhold that will have a population of 75 to 100 people, who will have a gang, he'll have resources that go with that. Whether or not the other players are a part of that hold is up to the other players.
The prison
maybe
from Walking Dead.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
Or just Megaton, or something not even like that. It can be something that's more improvised.
Fucking Megaton.
And what that is, you have safety and defense behind those walls. And whether or not you are members of that hold or just passing through or captured by them will be up to us to determine how that is. Because again, if someone chooses to play the Maester D, maybe they don't want their establishment to be in the Hardholder's hold, because that kind of makes you beholden to them. Maybe your establishment is a little down the road, and you become like, I don't know, 10 penny towers to this Megaton, and the two of you don't always get along.
Fallout 3 was such a good game.
Cassie, you
Hello.
have a second character.
I do have a second character.
You can do it in the same voice.
No, I feel like this one needs a little bit of a different treatment, so we're gonna go with it. We're gonna
Okay.
I'm
We're
so
gonna try.
excited.
My stomach.
don't
already hurts.
get this excited, because this is a voice I have never practiced before, so I'm trying
no.
it on the fly.
Do it.
Trying it absolutely
God.
100% on the fly,
Putting
right?
away anything that can do a spit take from me. All right.
Introducing the Battle Babe. Even in a place as dangerous as Apocalypse World, Battle Babes are, well, they're the ones you should walk away from, eyes down. But you can't. They're the ones like the seductive blue crackling light, you know? You mistake looking at them for falling in love. You get too close and it's a zillion volts and your wings burn off like paper. Dangerous.
I'm sold.
Oh, I got goosebumps. Yeah.
So the Battle Babe sits on the same spectrum as the Gunlugger. The Battle Babe is also going to they're going to actually get to build a custom battle weapon. They get to have and they can get like the melee gun shield with like chainsaw blades and all that other stuff thrown into it and a grenade launcher.
That's awesome.
So the
That's
Battle
pretty
Babe
badass.
is exactly, it's Barbarella, it's Furiosa, it's all those things. Like
Question.
you're
Question.
this badass battle warrior.
Can your battle babe be a dude?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Because I want that.
It's
That
just-
would be amazing.
It's just the name that they threw in there, but absolutely, and they can be a dude, they can be somewhere in the middle. I mean, this is also
If your battle babe is a dude, it has to be Mikisugi from Kill la Kill. Like, just her clothes, just like,
the character
Yes.
that Bree is about to read actually has an option under look as just ambiguous, and
Amazing.
you just don't know. So when you
That's
when
super
you pick the
good.
character, you can have a look, and you can circle under looks. And I would suggest, because we're playing this also to present to our listeners, go with what it suggests in the book, because they've been written to also fit the trope of those characters, and that can give you an idea to kind of play into that character. Maybe you'll see something there that you didn't consider yourself when you picked the rules. You open up the pamphlet and you'll see some suggested names. You can pick anything you want, but look at the names to see what the style that they're going for with this character, and then circle off in each of the paragraphs under looks. And then we'll take a little time, and you can then introduce the character that is that playbook.
Cassie,
Yeah,
I don't know what voice that was, but she was definitely played by Tara Strong.
amazing. That is such a high compliment because holy crap, Tara Strong is fucking legendary.
Shit.
Tara Strong, please come play on our show.
Yes, please, I love you. Tara Strong, please.
I'll love it. Tara Strong, Laura Bailey, Nolan North, and
Mark Meir.
Well, Mark Meir we've already had on.
Yeah, but get him at the table.
Get him
with those
again.
people.
Wait, no. Why am I blanking?
Dude, Rob Paulson.
No.
I keep
guy-
wanting to get Toby Proctor on here too.
Yes.
What's his name? Troy Baker.
Oh, Troy Baker, Baby Maker.
We have two more characters to introduce. So, and I want to keep going because we've only got half hour left in this episode. The final character brought in for 3.
Introducing the Brainer. Brainers are the weird, psychic mind fucks of Apocalypse World. They have brain control, puppet strings, creepy hearts, dead souls, and eyes like broken things. They stand in your peripheral vision and whisper into your head. Staring, they clamp lenses over your eyes and read your secrets. They're just the sort of tasteful accoutrement that no well-appointed hardhold can do without.
Shit.
So, if you want an angel on your team, consider the Brainer. They like to spend intimate time with patients too.
Just in a different way.
In the
Going
different
to heal
sense.
you. The Brainer is also like the Hocus. Is a character that is very much about the Psychic Maelstrom. And if you're wondering what that is, the Psychic Maelstrom, according to the rules here, it's everywhere, just outside your perception. And if you open your brain up to know it, you can learn things from it. It learns things from you, too. If you know how, you can reach out into it to make things happen. It caused the apocalypse, or the apocalypse caused it. Nobody knows.
Is that what was it in Monster Hearts? The Dark Place?
Gazing into the darkness.
Yeah.
So
Okay, that's what this is.
The Psychic Maelstrom, however, unlike that, is a very active force in this world, and at any
Right.
time you can roll to ask the Maelstrom questions, which is me, the Master of Ceremonies. But unlike Monster Hearts, the Maelstrom asks you questions when that happens as well, and it might reveal to you things that you didn't ask it for. And is it alive? Is it a collection? Is it intelligent? It's intentionally left ambiguously vague. The first time you roll to open your mind to the Maelstrom, I will ask you just open-ended, what is that like for you? What do you imagine that is when your character opens their mind to it? And it is okay that all 5 of you have a very completely different experience. In the rules, they have both dreamlike situations where vultures have the faces of the people you're looking for versus the Maelstrom itself having a face and it's yours and it's staring back at you. It can get as weird and trippy as you want it to be, or it can be more rooted in a reality. That's up to you to decide. After you do it the first time, I'll take control of it from there. But I do want to gauge what you think this Maelstrom is. The Brainer is going to spend a lot of time there. A lot of the Brainer's moves, like the Hocus, deals with the Psychic Maelstrom. And when the Brainer's moves go poorly and they miss on a roll, usually the Psychic Maelstrom starts affecting everyone else around, and they don't get to contain it anymore. So it's kind of good stuff. Same thing with the Angel. When the Angel fails heal checks, sometimes the Maelstrom just kind of just pops in and it starts interacting with the physical world. Nice. So the Psychic Maelstrom is something that I expect we will experience through this game. You have a weird stat, and at any time you can tell me I'm opening my mind to the Maelstrom because you need answers, and you can commune with the Maelstrom and you can find out those answers. Some characters might spend a lot of time there. Some characters might treat that like a desperate last measure. Both of those are okay. Mm-hmm. So we have one last character to bring in, correct?
Yes. The Savvy Head. This one's really short. If there's one thing you can count on in Apocalypse World, it's things break.
That's it.
That's the entire description.
All right.
Every Apocalypse World game has a bit of a joke that one playbook has a really short title. If you remember, the ghost from Monster Hearts just said spooky. That was it. Everyone else had these great big long monologues.
It's just like, it's a ghost. What the fuck else do
The
you want?
Savvy Head is your mechanic. The Savvy Head has
ghost.
always got a project on the run. They're always building something. They're always working on something. They're always experimenting with something. The Savvy Head also deals with the Psychic Maelstrom because sometimes they build antennas and sometimes they want to study it. And sometimes they want to channel it and focus it on their enemies. So the Psychic Maelstrom can be both a supernatural force and a scientific force. And where the Brainer kind of straddles both of those, the Hocus is very much on the religious side, the Savvy Head is very much on the technical science side. But like the Maestro D and the Hardholder, and on the Angel as well, the Savvy Head gets to build a workshop. And they get to build a place where they're working on their projects. And they get to choose, is it a garage? Is it a hospital room? Is it a back of a truck? Those are up to the Savvy Head to build. And they'll have a lab that they're working out and building things. And I can't imagine anyone at this table that would find themselves comfortable with a character like that.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, I couldn't.
I am going to be
so
so surprised.
Single
I have
person in this
no
room
clue.
that would.
You guys shut up, you guys.
Because we did start without Tom, I wanted to hold off with these expectations. In past games that we've played, like with Masks, I had a number of rules like, here's a few things that we need to follow if this is going to work. Now, there aren't that many in this game because there's no status quo. You don't have to be friends with these characters. It is best if you don't start as enemies. It is perfectly fine for you to become enemies, but let that happen during play. At the beginning of our story, we're at least all allies.
I was about to say,
you all
allies
know
that
each
could
other,
be friends or
but
enemies.
you don't have to be close friends, but you do know each other. You have worked together. You should start as allies. You might become enemies in play, but that should happen in the game.
Yeah.
I'm already getting PTSD from Monster Hearts, man.
Each character, you'll notice,
Seriously.
does have a sex move. It's there if it happens,
Really?
and if it never does, that's fine as well.
There's a sex move?
It's up to you. It is
Best possible reaction.
Did I hear that correctly?
It's under special.
Of course it is.
Oh, I was going to say, it's like mine is literally called, like, it will
It
say,
is
like,
entirely
Hardholder Special
up
is the driver
to you
special.
if your character uses that move at all. If it's ignored entirely for the game, that's fine. We will not be playing out the sex move. When it happens, the screen fades to black.
Oh, we're gonna Mass Effect it?
Yes.
If we fine then, Captain
And then
Killjoy.
we play through it. If you would like to play out the sex move, we can record that later for our Patreon supporters.
Terror Warriors.
Fucking-
After Dark.
Story time with Bree comes back.
We did have the sex move used in our Monster Hearts game, and it was actually because Steve was peering through the window into the other two
No,
characters
no.
that he was watching.
It was Shane that was peering through the window.
No.
I was from your house
it
into your
was.
neighbor's house.
Was it?
You saw Bree
Yeah,
and
I thought it was
Julian's
I.
character.
It was Julian and I, yeah.
I'm already getting mad. This is not good.
The other thing to point out is your characters are completely unique. There are no other savvy heads. There are no other angels. There are no other brainers. There might be other people who behave like angels and use angel kits, but you're the only angel. There might be other people who use the same tools and act
cool.
like they're a brainer, but you're the only brainer. There might be other people who work with technology and have little laboratories and have projects, but you're the only savvy head. You are unique in this world. Just because you might come across other establishments and meet other governors doesn't mean they are the same as you if you're a heart holder. So just kind of have that there. When you're picking your character out, you're going to have armor. If you choose 2 armor, that's stuff you can see. It's body armor, it's helmets, it's welding masks, it's stop signs taped to you. If you want to have a character that's just more fashionable and shows off what they're wearing without looking like they're in padded armor, that's 1 or lower. 3 armor does exist in the rules, but you'll notice it's not mentioned anywhere in your characters because that would be like a bomb disposal suit, and they're
can't-
also very rare in this world. But if you want to make that a project,
Build power armor.
if you want to make that a project, yes, you could actually.
Okay, well, I'll do that.
And then the last bit too is I got into a bit with Connell off camera. There, barter.
camera.
You'll see that there's oddments. Oddments worth X amount of barter. 1 barter, 2 barter, 3 barter. There's no currency written in with the game. Everything's barter. I kind of like that. We're going to stick with that for the game. But if you want to create your own local currency, if we're running a hard hold, that's totally fine too. We'll just replace that with the barter mechanic. You'll see that there's like, if you need jingle is just another colloquial term for barter. And whenever you do a gig, the default is you always get 3 barter from a gig. And so you're going to have to be spending barter each hour to keep up your lifestyle, or you're going to end up starving and living on the street.
I'm sorry, it's story time. You just said the word barter so many times that my brain is kind of like...
And the last
And we broke Cassie. All right.
We're not playing a traditional
haven't even started yet.
We're not playing
Barter.
Ravenloft. This is not adversarial like Dungeons and
sorry.
Dragons.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, man.
working with you. I'm fans of your characters. I
Yes.
will play honestly,
Yep.
but I'm not out to get you. If I was,
Yeah.
I would just hit an earthquake and everyone would die. But I'm fans of your characters, and I want to see things happen. And yes, I want to see bad things happen to your characters, but that's part of the delicious story. I'm not out to get you. I'm just here to fuck
That's
with you.
every tabletop RPG.
But to a degree,
I mean-
if you're playing a traditional D&D game, you're against the dungeon
No.
master, and they're trying to kill you in the dungeon. I've
That's
played
a
games
horrible
where
concept.
Traditionally,
That's a horrible way to play. Don't
That-
play D&D like that, people.
That's how the mega dungeon started, man. It
Yeah.
was like you're
Traditionally,
going
that's
in,
how that
you've
works,
got health
but
points,
most-
you've got experience points, you've got a certain amount of magic, you've got X amount of ammunition. We're not doing that. Now, that's also been the norm for Terrible Warriors for the better part of 3 years. So I'm just putting that out there as a disclaimer because, again, this is like, Apocalypse World. We're finally doing it. So we've mentioned all the characters. We've put them all on the table. You've all paid your picks. Connell, who are you going to be playing?
I wonder who
Brace
you could
yourselves.
possibly be
Drum roll.
playing.
Keep the fuck shut up,
Battle
asshole.
babe, battle babe, battle babe, battle babe.
It's the Battle Babe.
It's bad
Is
enough.
self-typecast a thing?
We love you, Connell.
Man, fucking, you guys suck, you guys.
You're wearing your fucking lab coat.
It's my daytime lab coat, you shut up.
To be fair, we're finally filming this at Con Bravo, and he's already going to be in costume. You know it. So
This is my casual at-home lab.
we're actually going to have Dr. Terrell
No, I
in
have
the
a
Apocalypse
different lab
world.
coat for being
house
casual at home.
This house coat.
This is my
You
outside
have a
lab
lab
coat, and then I
smoking
have
coat?
a dress lab
You
coat.
have a lab smoking jacket?
Yes, with slippers. I have slippers.
I have 3 that I
goggles
wear
on
in
them.
different situations, and you shut up!
No.
Play the
Please,
goddamn savvy head!
please
wanna
tell
know
me,
what the third
please tell me
private
you
one
got
is.
those like Godzilla slippers that make noises when you stop.
Yes! No, they were distracting. I had to stop wearing.
Connell, you're
We
a
love
gift. You're a gift. I love you. Please never change.
Okay, Connell's playing the savvy head. Tom, who would you like to play?
I am playing the gun lugger.
And we got guns and we've got tech. Steve.
I'm gonna do the hard holder.
I got a base.
We got a base.
You got a base.
Cassie, who are you interested in?
I'm gonna play the angel.
You were really debating about changing over to the battle.
A little bit. It was a little. I was just like, ooh, that sounds really tasty. I want to be like total babe badass. Just like, but I was just like, nah.
You can still do that with the angel. The angel can still be a battle babe that just happens to also heal people, right? Like you just won't be playing the trope of the battle babe.
Yeah.
You can still just be a babe
That's
who
fine.
goes to battle.
I'm still gonna be the angel. Just maybe I might try.
You might just wear spiky shoulders.
Yeah, I'm still gonna be. I'm probably gonna try to be a little bit of a bamf, but not as. I'm still gonna have more of a soft side, I think.
And finally, we got Bree playing the.
I'm playing the brainer.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's par for the course. So we're all picking into it.
Everybody picking on me for self-typecasting.
I thought the battle babe would be way too typecasting for me.
Fair. It does fair. That is a
Hundo
hundy.
P.
Yeah.
One hundy piece hundy.
The
Yeah, you
stats
would
are
be.
broken up into cool, hard, hot, sharp, and weird. Cool stats are everything you're going to use when you're under fire, when you're trying to be rational and clear thinking, acting calm. It's going to be mostly used for the move, do something under fire. So, and that doesn't necessarily mean people are shooting at you. It's whenever you're in a critical, charged moment where you're having to think calm under pressure, that's where the cool stat comes in. Hard is hard-hearted. Violent, aggressive behavior. It's your strong willingness, your mean streak. It's how physical you are. It's your strength. Whenever you go aggro on someone, which is when you attack them before they're actually attacking you, you're acting violent, you're going to be rolling your hard stat into that. Hot is your attraction. It's your subtleness. It's your grace. It's your sexiness. It's how much you inspire people. It's your excitement. You roll hot whenever you choose to seduce or manipulate someone. Sharp is your wittedness, your cleverness, how alert you are, how smart you are. Whenever you want to read a person or read a situation, you'll be rolling your sharp stat. And finally, the weird stat is your psychic weirdo genius stat. It's how uncanny you are. It's how lucky you are. It's how strange and prophetic you are. Whenever you open your brain to the world's psychic maelstrom, you're absolutely right. You're going to roll weird. And a lot of the rolls with the brainer, she rolls weird instead of anything else. So sometimes when the brainer wants to seduce and manipulate someone, they can roll weird instead of hot. And just completely mess with you because it's got nothing to do with their physical attraction, everything to do with the weird psychic brainwaves coming out of their dead dark eyes.
Oh boy.
And then their final stat is history. And history isn't going to have anything yet because we're going to fill that in with characters. But it means your shared history with a character. It doesn't necessarily mean how well you get along or how long you've known each other. It just means how much of a read you have on them. How well do you know them right now? And the history is going to move up and down as you really get in their head or as you get out. Whenever history gets to 4, it resets back to 1 and you get experience. Whenever it drops to -3, it resets back to 0 and you also get experience. And it doesn't mean you know them less, it just means you've now gone to another stage in that history with them. And in the way that a brother knows you know your brother better than you know your coworker, is the example they give. And so as you level up your history, you level up your character as well.
Cool.
So there's a real incentive there to get experience through that. The 3 ways you can get experience in the game are whenever you roll with a move of a highlighted stat, and we'll highlight the stats at the very last thing we do before we start the game. The player who knows you the most will highlight a stat, and then I will highlight the second stat. And everyone will have 2 stats that will have a highlight on them, and roughly every hour we'll change up the highlights if someone wants that.
What does that do?
And whenever you roll using that stat, you always get experience, regardless
shit.
if it's a hit or a miss. As long as
groovy.
you're using, so that is a real it's a direction from the table on how we want you to play your character. And I'm not gonna pick a stat you're not gonna use. If the brainer doesn't have a weird stat highlighted, we're probably not doing something right.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas, the savvy head, maybe it's cool, maybe it's hard, maybe it's sharp, but that'll be up to sort of us to choose. And so you always get experience every time you roll a move that uses your highlighted stat. You get experience whenever your history maxes out at 4 or bottoms out at -3. And there are certain moves that always give you experience points. The Savvy Head actually has one. If you choose that move, whenever you give someone advice and they follow that advice, you get experience.
Yep.
and,
What's that?
and what's great is you get to decide what that advice is.
Yeah,
not me.
It's oftener right. I'm right often or oftener. Is when a character comes to you for advice, you tell them what you honestly think
Yeah, you
and
should go
the
do
best
that
course.
thing.
And if they do it, then they take a +1 on any rolls that they make doing that thing, and you get experience.
Even if that thing is really bad advice, as long as they do it,
If they do
get
it.
a forward on the roll, and you always get experience.
Yep.
So there's like,
So you're just gonna give people bad advice
But
constantly?
this is the thing, like
I'm an ideas
he's
guy.
the crazy doctor going, I got an idea. You should go do this, right? So that's as we go through now, explaining the stats. Hopefully, it's giving you enough time to look through the set.
Do I get all of these abilities?
You don't get all the abilities. It's gonna say on the move sheet.
You're Rocket Raccoon asking for people's prosthetic libs.
Yeah, basically.
Under moves, it'll tell you how many you
Under
can have.
moves, which is on
okay.
the inside of your playlist,
Oh,
it says
okay.
you get all the basic moves, and you'll choose 2 Skinner moves. And I have actually printed out the basic moves.
So I picked 2 of these. Okay.
As well as your special playbook moves, every player gets a basic move sheet. Every player has those moves. I also have moves that you can read if you want to have a moment for battling, for road war, and for dealing with harm. So these are more supplemental. You don't have to read them now. They're going to be dealing more when we enter into a battle, or if we end up using vehicles, we'll be using those pages as well.
These are a lot of fun. At the beginning of the session, roll plus weird. On a 10+, if hold 1+1. What does that mean?
At any time, either you or the MC can spend that hold you already have with the proper tools and knowledge, or without any clear expectation, you are there. If your hold was 1+1, you take a forward now, along with being there. So you spend your hold, and you get a forward in that scene.
Okay.
And the forward is a +1 to a roll in that scene.
You
and
just
on a
decided
miss,
to bring some tools, and it happens that you needed those.
But on a miss with Bonefeel, the MC holds that one and spends it whenever they want to have you already there, but you're already pinned, trapped, or caught.
Oh, fuck.
So it turns back on you. So it's a way for maybe the brainer's sneaking into a base and the brainer shows up and you're already there and you're already setting the trap for her and everything's ready and you've got all the equipment. Or you're already there but you're tied down to a chair and you're being interrogated by that base's brainer.
Hi.
Oh,
Get
hey.
me out of here!
So it's funny you should show up.
Yeah, or you snuck in and you got yourself pinned with like a big piece of rebar and you're like, I'm stuck here now. All this rebar is pushed down on me.
Oh man, this looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
So who would like to introduce their character now, their name,
I'm ready.
how they look?
Let's just go clockwise then.
Okay.
Yay.
So what's your
History
what's your
time.
PC's name?
So my PC's name is Pity,
Ooh.
which is actually one of the offerings in the book that I really liked. There's some really good ones for brainers that are offered in here.
Okay.
So then under look, I've actually just circled all things that they offered me in the book because it was really nice. I liked it. So they offer you gender, right? So I chose ambiguous. Wearing one of the choices it gave me was fetish/bondage wear. So I chose that. So Pity
would.
is wearing
That's amazing.
a pale leather catsuit, but it's covered in like brownish red stains. That might be mud.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's mud.
Maybe.
Hey, your clothes got a bunch of rust on them. Never mind.
I'm curious to know what stats you chose to give yourself. Which set did you choose?
So I chose the set that's cool +1, hard -2, hot +1, sharp +2, weird +2.
Cool. All right. And
And then
describe to me the gear you have.
I'll finish look
Oh,
real
yeah.
quick because there's still a couple
Oh, you
more.
got some more things.
So then I went with bony face, pale eyes, and an awkward angular body. So I'm thinking like a cross between, Nuada from the second Hellboy movie and like a really high fashion model.
Oh yeah.
That's
No, I'm feeling that.
that's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So under gear, I was allowed one small fancy weapon, so I have scalpels.
Scalpels.
And then 2 brainer gear, and the the brainer gear I took, the one is deep earplugs, which it says protects the wearer from all brainer moves and gear. So I can give that to someone in a situation and be like, here, put these in for
on.
a second, close your eyes, I'm happy too. And like, don't worry about it. And then the other thing I chose because I saw the name and I was just like, well, I'm done, is the violation glove.
What is that?
And it says, for purposes of brainer moves, mere skin contact counts as time and intimacy. So all I have to do
Damn.
is touch someone.
She doesn't have to get alone. She doesn't need to get you tied to a table. All she has to do is touch your skin and
Hilarity ensues.
Weird.
roll some dice. And then you roll some dice. So which moves
And
did you pick?
fade to black.
She knows what your internet browser history is.
I'm sorry, did you
I'm
think
just imagining
incognito
a movie
mode
that
would
just
help?
fades to black every time she accidentally touches someone.
So what I chose was a natural lust transfixion,
What?
which is when you try to seduce someone, roll weird instead of hot.
Oh God.
That's great.
And then the other one I chose, I was going between 2, and I wound up choosing in-brain puppet strings. So when you have time and physical intimacy with someone, which remember is now just a touch, you can plant a command inside of their mind. Roll plus weird. On a 10, hold 3. On a 7 and 9, hold 1. At your will, no matter the circumstances, you can spend your hold 1 for 1 to inflict 1 harm, or they take a -1. If they fulfill your command, that counts for all your remaining hold. On a miss, you inflict 1 harm upon your subject to no benefit.
So, to give you an idea of how much harm works, with an NPC, the average NPC is going to have 2 harm, and then they're probably going to die. So, whereas the PCs, you get up to 3 harm before you start dying, and then you get 3 more stages where you're real hurt, but we can still bring you back. NPCs have all those same stages, except they just die earlier because they're more squishy. The brainer is going to have the ability to just simply touch your skin with this glove and then be like, "Follow me." And then if you don't follow, you start bleeding from the ears.
Oh jeez.
Right, because having to resist that implanted command means it's going to physically hurt you, or if it's more like, come to my defense, maybe, and she does it on a bad guy who's in the room, that villain or that enemy if they don't come to their defense, they're going to take a -1 to whatever role they're going to do that is anything other than defending her. So there's things like that. Planting commands are fun.
Shit.
But can I mention, there is a brainer special which allows me to have 1 more move. The last move is actually a deep brain scan, which is like a really intense
you only get to
move,
do
but
that.
only if I'm having sex with someone, basically. But that's why I didn't pick that move as my default move, is because I can get it anyway.
She could have done deep brain scan
It's
though
true.
if she had just spent time alone with someone, but now she can only do it if she actually uses it as a sex move.
Which is why I chose a natural lust
Whenever the
transfixion.
brainer has sex with someone, they get to scan their brain and learn all their browsing history. So, so that's
Jeez, there's a lot of cats in here.
Or if I miss, they just start bleeding from the eyes. Like they take 1 harm if I miss on that roll.
So that's the story. That's the story of
awkward.
pity. Tom, introduce your character to us.
Oh, I thought we were going clockwise. Okay. My character is Nelson, first name Ken, aka Rocky. He hates that nickname. he usually prefers most people just call him Nelson.
Kenneth.
Also, I sneaked a reference in there. See who can figure it out. He's got scrounged, mismatched armor.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a scarred face. He kind of looks like a shorter version of the Mountain from the Game of Thrones.
Okay.
with a little bit of Tom Hardy and Mad Max because we're playing Apocalypse World and he has kind of dead gray eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, the stats I picked was +1 cool, +2 hard, -2 hot, +2 sharp, and weird -1. And the moves I picked out were Insano like Drano, which gives me +1 hard, so I'm at +3. Battle Hardened, when I act under fire or when I stand Overwatch, I roll hard instead of cool. And Blood Crazed, whenever I inflict harm, I inflict +1 harm.
And your gear.
Okay, I have a
got some
silenced
weapons, right?
sniper rifle, a shotgun, a magnum, and many knives. It has the word infinite there. I assume that just means if I lose knives, I'm covered.
The idea is that you can drop your knives as an item, but if you're just the individual knives they're throwaways. You can toss them, you can throw them, you can stick them into things, and that's fine. But you don't have an infinite item
Right.
of knives. You have infinite knives in your item of knives. So you're not going to run out if you're throwing them out of your bag, but you can drop your whole bag of knives.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So you don't have to count them.
You're not going to run out of ammunition when it comes to knives, but you can trade all your knives.
Yeah.
Okay. It also says that I start with oddments worth 2 barter, so I just decide my character likes to hoard canned food.
Yeah, well, the brainer starts with oddments worth 8 barter.
Yeah, so
So I mean, she's got a lot going on.
It's real easy when you just take people into a room and they never come back out.
Are you Bilquis? Are you American Gods Bilquis? Okay.
Right.
No one's watched the show, I guess.
I watched.
I've been-
I
No.
watched 2 episodes.
I've been watching American Gods.
People who have sex with Bilquis just disappear.
Yeah.
Off to the vagina.
Oh yeah,
nebula.
that one. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
I haven't
you
seen
went
American
into-
Gods, but
Oh,
I have
that
read a
one.
bit of it. Yeah,
Vagina
yeah.
space.
So I want to get
There we
to. I'm going to get to Connell and Steve last because they're going to have the most things I need to add into the
Yep,
to
sure.
the map. Cassie,
Yo,
tell me about your angel.
cool.
What's her name?
So, my name is Magnolia Stone,
Nice.
also known as Nurse Maggie. Female. She wears sort of like a mix of like casual wear with quite a bit of utility. She's got a kind face with bright eyes and a compact body, so she's kind of small and unassuming, but is really capable at what she does.
Your Mercy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm Mercy.
you're
Little
bringing
Mercy.
your Mercy game.
Yeah. Except if Mercy was like small,
Small.
very small girl.
So, Mercy Kirby.
Not that small.
Like if Mercy and
used-
May were mixed together.
Yeah,
Small
maybe
with
if
an
Mercy.
O. That's Kirby small.
Yeah, like if May was
Macy.
cosplaying Mercy.
Yeah,
Macy.
Macy. That's adorable.
I don't know why I pictured Nurse Joy, but
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
fair. That's picking out the kind of characters that I like to play and my
So-
sensibilities. That's a fair assessment.
You got your angel kit. Let everyone know what your angel kit is.
My angel kit. Holy crap! There's a lot of stuff in here. Actually,
You don't have to list it all off, but it's I just want you to explain to the players, so I don't have to do all the explaining.
so it's basically just like my stuff that I use to heal people. What makes them no longer do the bleeds? Whoa! What the fuck?
That
Thank
was
you for putting your phone on silent and do not disturb while
I
recording
did
the
put it
podcast.
on silent. It's just an alarm that I didn't realize
So-
was set. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's okay. It was awesome.
The
It
angel,
was a good choice of
got a heel
ringtone.
kit.
the angel kit is your sutures, your bandages. It's
Yep.
syringes, morphine, everything you need to bring someone back to life. Now it's also huge.
Oh, yeah.
It fits
There
into
is-
the trunk of a car.
There is so much stuff in here. It's
If you've got your
ridiculous.
full angel kit with you, it fits into the trunk of a car and it's worth 6 stocks, which means you can use it 6 times. Bringing back someone who's untenable, each stock is basically 1 harm check on your harm clock. So you can spend up to 3 stock each time you tend to someone with your angel kit. If you wanted to, Cassie, carry it on your back, you can split your kit up into a backpack, but you're only going to have 3 stock left. But it's going to be big, it's going to be heavy.
Yeah.
Or you can take up like half the trunk of a car. If you want to have it a lot more mobile, more like a field kit, you can take it with just a single stock or 1 or 2, but you're going to have it primed and ready before you leave. Whereas the full kit as it is, you just unroll it and away you go. You're basically got a mobile medic tent ready to happen.
Yeah.
You also do have a medic Like you have a workshop, don't you?
I have
Or is
a
that an
workshop if I took that angel move.
Oh, okay. You
And
didn't.
I did not.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So you're a more mobile angel, but the angel would have had the opportunity, like the Savvy Head's workshop, but it would be for people instead of things.
Yeah.
And it basically treats itself the same way, but it's optional.
Yeah,
can go with that.
you have an infirmary.
What moves did you go with?
I went with professional compassion, which means you can roll plus sharp instead of rolling history when you help someone who's rolling.
Okay.
And I also chose battlefield grace. While you're caring for people and not fighting, you get +1 armor.
Cool. And that's actually one of the only ways to get extra armor is unique to the angel. If when you're under fire and you're helping to tend to someone, you get a bonus defense because you're playing into that role and you're shielding yourself and you're taking cover. You get an extra armor to that.
Yep.
Which is kind of great. It fits into like that cinematic role of the war medic.
Yeah.
And were those were all the? Was there any additional gear you get to choose along with the angel kit?
One practical weapon, which I chose the stun gun.
Mm-hmm.
Oddment's worth 2 barter, so not a whole heck of a lot,
Okay.
but it's something.
All right. So
And fashion suitable to your look, including at your option a piece worth 1 armor.
and that can be just what you just described what you were wearing.
Yeah,
already.
basically.
Yeah, because 1 armor doesn't change your outward appearance. You can just it's all kind of it's a leather jacket. It's
Yeah.
your clothing that's out there. It's whatever it is. Whereas if it's 2 armor, that's more noticeable. If you're obviously wearing armor, you're walking around in a big suit. So, Connell, we move to the Savvy Head.
Okay. All right. Where do you want me to start?
First,
here?
your name.
I actually haven't been able to pick a name yet.
Do you need a help?
Well, I mean,
Does it
yeah,
start with doctor?
it might. Also, shut up. I'm just trying to be like.
I'm thinking T. Watts.
I'm just like
Whoa, excuse
That is
me.
an old podcast name.
old podcast name. It's like-
Wowie, wowie,
I don't want to
zowie.
go with anything obvious like Dr. Jameson Junkenstein, but you know,
I mean, it has like the names that it suggests for the Savvy Head are
Yeah.
quite normal, like Whitmont, Emmanuel, Joshua, Cullen, Spectre, Dylan.
oh yeah,
I don't know.
Spectre,
I don't know. I like Nils.
Nils.
Or Whitmore. I like Whit.
Leon.
I also like
Dr.
Birdie.
It does have Justin as a suggested name.
Justin.
It's right there.
Tell us, Justin.
Tinkerdite. You should be just
I like.
be Tinkerdite.
Okay.
Sorry,
My name
I've
is
been playing Shovel Knight.
Emmanuel
Sorry.
Budrick. This fucking silly fucking names. You know what? Emmanuel Goldman, I think I'll take.
Nice.
Dr. Gold.
Manuel.
I like it. I like
Doc
Get
Manny
ourselves a Jewish
Goldman.
doctor.
Oh my god.
Goldman is a Jewish name.
I don't think
know
he has a
things.
doctorate. There's no universities left in the
Do you want
Where
a
did you
fucking
get your
laser on the
doctorate?
roof or don't you?
There we go.
It's a fuck off laser.
Oh, fuck off
not
laser,
A
It's
fuck
a
sorry.
big
you
fuck
laser.
up. Yeah, no.
You got
Doctor-
a laser. Why don't you use it?
Emmanuel Goldman, also known as Dr. Gold, usually walks about wearing sort of plate junk armor that he's sort of like cobbled together. It actually looks pretty sophisticated despite being made out of car parts
it's
and things
armor
like
too?
that. Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's a lot like if you've played Fallout New Vegas, the Rangers that walk around in like the trench coat that have the body armor on underneath that. It's very much that look, but the trench coat's the white lab coat with the collar up, and then instead of wearing a helmet, he's got large goggles and a breather mask that he has on. Very rarely, if at all, some people have seen him with his goggles up and his mask off. But he usually has them on when he's working and or when he's out in the field, and that's almost the only time that people see him. His hair is crazy, and he has very expressive eyes. He's
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Very
also
expressive
shut up
eyes.
the
So,
fuck up.
describe to me your workshop. 'Cause that's the big one.
The workshop is a basement area full of weird ass electronica, machining tools, and I was gonna. Yeah, well, I wanted to say a truck or van just so that at some point I could turn to someone and be like, "We'll talk about it in the van."
Dude,
Oh, don't worry. That moment will happen.
No, it's more
We'll
like,
discuss
go
it
to the
in
basement.
the van.
dude, I'm sorry.
Get in the van!
That's the second time you said weird ass electronica. I just think of like really, really bad like imitation Skrillex.
It's a literal
Skrillex with GarageBand.
It's an actual dead mouse in the corner of the room. And then everybody's just like, why do you have a dead rodent over there? It's just like, no, but the music's good. And no one else can hear it but him. And he's just like, can you hear it though? Is it good?
He made the mouse a tiny gas mask. Just a tiny little blinking gas mask on the dead
Little
mouse.
tiny blinking gas mask on the dead mouse and just be like, yeah, but the beats are good.
How's the rest of your workshop? You got
Get in the cart, pig.
So those are the three things. It's a basement, electronica, machining tools.
It's machining tools, and I didn't know if I wanted to pick up a proving range or a relic of the Golden Age past. And if you would allow it, I was going to have the relic of the Golden Age past actually be his arm. So his prosthetic arm.
Well, you're not from. The arm.
The arm that he
prosthetic arm
has,
is
yeah,
from- is
like
from the la- is
his
from the
arm that he
past.
has is like a robot arm that was part of, and that's his main focus of his research is like improving his arm.
I'm gonna say that the prosthetic arm you're wearing is something you've reverse engineered from the relic you keep in your workshop.
which is like the
Which is-
fucking
it's-
Terminator
it's a
arm.
Way more. Yeah, it's a way more. It's way too
Like
advanced.
the Cyberdyne Systems
No, do you
Terminator
know-
arm and a glass tube
Exactly.
style
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Okay,
You're
sweet.
like, well, you're also like Captain Jack with the doctor's hand in the bubbling jar, right? You've got
Yeah.
this. Yeah,
The
that's
fucking-
this thing.
Or either
It's
has the
this
best joke
cybernetic-
ever, or she's just
No,
desperate to talk.
do you know the like useless robots like YouTube channel, right? It's like one of the it's real bad
Like,
at its job.
what's
but
it
now
do?
It's the gold
And it like
standard.
picks up a hot dog and smashes it repeatedly into a dummy's head, and it's just like it does that.
No, that's his arm.
that's-
That's the arm that he.
It's like
That's the army
what is it? Treasure Planet, like the pirate guy that had like
yeah.
the big robotic arm
Yeah.
that could
Yeah.
like change into different tools and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I was looking for something like that, and then he'd also have a prosthetic leg on the opposite side. So
Yeah,
it's-
well, I'm
got
going
a
to say
peg
that's
leg.
not something that
Yeah.
you're going to have on you because the prosthetic arms, as we didn't get a chance to get into, we'll do it between episodes, is just, it doesn't give you anything extra.
Okay.
It does exactly what an arm does.
It just looks
It
badass.
just means that you don't have one arm.
Okay.
But it's aesthetic, but it's also, it's functional in that it behaves exactly as an arm is supposed to behave. And that's all it is.
Can that be one of my projects though? Is that I'm building up stuff on my prosthetic arm?
Yeah, and in fact, you're using the relic, and this is the first part was just building the arm in the first place to replace your old arm. We can get into how you lost your arm, but the relic you have from the Golden Age is like this cyber arm with. Maybe it's got bits of flesh on it and it's all just
Or-
kind of sitting there. But you've been you're looking at it and because there's no one knows how this stuff works.
Yeah.
And no one knows what it is. But you're slowly taking from it and trying to
I
build
have an
things from the
idea.
technology you gained.
So the relic of the past. So basically, like you could have it as you have like you didn't lose an arm. You found some sort of prop from an old superhero movie of an Iron Man type suit that literally the arm doesn't do anything but lights up, and you're enhancing it to be able to make it better.
No,
Like,
that's
actually-
not, I'm gonna say no. This is. I kind of liked where this cyber
Maybe, like, found parts of an actual
the thing
robot
with this
and-
is it can also tie into the mystery of the apocalypse and the psychic maelstrom, and there's maybe whoever lost that arm is gonna come back looking for it. There's gonna be and I like that we keep the origins of this thing, this relic, ambiguous, and
Yeah.
we can see where that is. But certainly I'm gonna put that. There on what it's called the threat map.
He's trying to so his project that we're gonna get after workspace. The project he's working on is he's trying to basically enhance and improve the robotic arm that he's got.
Okay.
And working on just improving his armor as well. So like the arm and the plate gear
mail
that he
and
wears.
So you've got both. You're missing an arm and a leg.
Yeah, his left arm and his right leg.
Okay.
And I don't know if I could
All
do
right,
like his.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I thought it was on the same side. Like it was left and left.
I could be wrong. It's been a couple years.
Yeah, no, because I wanted to try to go
Just the
like
arm and
opposite
leg.
sides.
Yeah, yeah.
An arm and a leg.
Did you turn your younger brother into a big robot giant man?
Maybe that's what I'm looking. Maybe that's the fucking relic that I've got.
Nobody let him have a dog or a child.
Oh my god!
No, it's a dog and a child.
If you look, one of your improvements is you can get a pet.
No! Don't do it! No! My heart! I can't take it.
He'll have to level up first. Everyone, follow his advice. What moves did you pick?
So the moves that
way over
I
time.
got often are right. So if I do give people advice, they get to roll +1 on when they're doing that thing.
I love that.
Then I
get
get experience. I didn't know what else to pick up though. I'm stuck between Bone Feel and Spooky Intense. Bone Feel is that thing where I get to roll at the beginning of a session, and there's a chance that I'll end up showing up to wherever it is that we're going with
You
all
weren't
the gear that
interested
we
in
need.
things speak?
No, that's more like you pick things up and then you like listen to what the thing says to you.
That's the only lovers left
And-
alive. Like, this is where this guitar is from.
Yeah, it's Dead
like
Zone stuff.
yeah, like it's some Dead Zone stuff, and I was like, that's cool, but if I want to take the character in a much more technical direction as opposed to like tech, what's the word I'm looking for? Like tech seance stuff, like tech psychic. If I want to
Yeah.
go more towards the tech, I was gonna think either Bone Field.
The Savvy Head
or
sex special is basically things speak, but for people, and you
Yeah.
still get to ask those same questions.
What's you say? Because like I don't have to
with the
take
person.
things speak for the sex special to still work.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so-
and you're not interested in reality's fraying edge. A component of your workspace is uniquely receptive to the Psychic Maelstrom. We could make that the arm, and the arm is almost an antenna.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that I don't know directly what that does.
No one does.
Spooky Intense means I get to roll my weird stat instead of cool for when I'm doing things like if I'm under fire, standing overwatch, or baiting a trap. And then Bone Feel is like I just happen to show up to a place with the stuff we need.
Spooky
Yeah,
Intense
yeah.
is the Rick Sanchez move. You're being weird instead of cool in any given charge situation.
Yeah.
Or you just pick Deep Insight and you get your weird to +3.
Morty. Look at this. But yeah, I'm stuck between Bone Feel and Spooky Intense. I'm gonna go fucking
I
Spooky
kind of like
Intense.
Bone Feel because it gives me moves to use
I
against
do
you.
really like Bone Feel, and
Yeah?
that it can fail spectacularly.
Okay, you know what? Let's for the sake of fun, let's go for that. Let's go for Bone
everyone
Feel.
else
'Cause
to
I have
know,
one that can fail spectacularly,
Bone
too.
Feel is a weird move from the Savvy Head, where at the beginning of every session, when we start, especially when we start the next episode, on a 10, they roll their weird stat. On a 10, they get to hold 1 plus a forward 1, and at a 7 to 9, they only hold 1. At any time, either the Savvy Head or the MC can spend that hold to have the Savvy Head already there. With the proper tools and knowledge, with or without any clear explanation of why.
He's like, where'd you come from?
But
Just
on a miss,
sneaking into a base and he's on the other side of the
but
fence
on a
already.
miss, the
looking
MC
around,
gets
confused.
the hold, and they're already there whenever the MC says they are, but now they're pinned, caught, or trapped. So I just pull. I'm like the cane that pulls you into a scene.
Yeah.
So it's a great way if you're working in your workshop to always like, oh, I want to be in this scene now.
Yeah.
And you can spend the hold to be in that scene. And then
I like
you're
it.
just there.
I like it.
You just walk out of the toilet and you're like, oh, hey, what's going on? I've already got all the traps set up and I got a motion detector on the door.
It was just in the washroom all along.
There's a distant, dull explosion, and you see him coming through the window.
You should always like walk in with a puff of smoke in behind him.
Oh, I see you've already arrived. Cool.
Ah, you're already here. Good.
And that is all for now. We're going to come back to you. You also have, you start with a 6 barter that you
Yep.
can spend, the oddments.
And
that you
then
have.
the other gear was the arm and the leg, and then the body armor, the breather mask,
I'm
and
gonna figure out your
some
the rules
kind
for your
of gun.
prosthetics. The prosthetic rules are at the back of the book. We're
Oh,
gonna get
shit.
to that.
Okay, cool.
We'll fill that in between
Sweet.
episodes. We've got the gunlugger, the savvy head, the brainer, the angel. We have only left the hard holder.
Hi. How's it going?
So,
Hi, Steve. I'm really far away.
so Steve, first your name.
I'm going with Simon Bishop, but outside of the walls of my base, my legend of name is Mother Superior. Just cause. I like the name. It was funny.
Okay.
He basically.
So we're not in a castle. We're in a giant old cathedral. That's
Yeah.
where we like battle. We battle readied this big old church with like
Yeah.
giant like armor plating. We've barred up the windows.
Yeah.
But it's this old like big old church on a hill.
Yeah.
that we've turned into the hard hold.
Yeah.
Part of the roof is collapsed in, but it's been refortified.
Battle church.
Yeah, Battle Church.
Fun bus.
Church.
When you
So
need to gear up, you get thee to a nunnery.
let's just say you don't want to know what happens in the confession.
Brainer knows.
Spoiler.
Brainer knows. Yeah,
The brainer-
that's where the
brainer
brainer goes to. That's where her domain works.
If you're ever looking for pity, go to the fucking confessional booth.
Brainers are the.
And she's just
That's
sitting
that
in
could
there
be
with
it,
her
yeah.
fucking
Tell me your
hands.
sins.
That I think that is now where you're going to be
Tell me your
stationed.
sins.
Okay, so basically his he.
So you get leadership and wealth.
Yeah. Well, so actually, I was gonna say what my character looks like. He his accoutrement is that he actually loves sort of again kind of like using the Mother Superior kind of the church. He loves that kind of old school like Catholic religious sort of
So you're dressed like the
mentality. No, actually, no. I'm dressed like a
Battle Pope?
no.
Battle
I have like a priest priest collar with a black shirt, and then but I also found an old like colonel's jacket that has like.
Why aren't you dressed like a Mother Superior? Like I just want to see Simon
No.
Bishop dressed in like the habit and like the big, yeah.
Battle Pope.
No, I don't know. I'm like
Okay.
the battle.
You know
What would
what?
the Battle
Maybe
Pope
we
dress
can
like?
have
A
a
bishop.
gear up. We can have a gear up montage in the third hour where he gets into Battle Pope. But
Battle Pope could be my armor, like that.
So-
That
There
basically
you
the
go.
whole outfit because
So-
he's got to like have a use for that that mobile
keep it
cart
on,
thing.
keep it on focus. I want to get to the end of this.
So
we can
yeah,
get to
so
our
he's found
history.
like an old like colonel's kind of like a jacket with has like a bunch of like medals fastened on it. He's got like a bandolier type belt with a bunch of bullets, and then like two very large like kind of like Colt Peacemaker guns.
Nice.
And then a giant like I can't remember what the kind of knife it is, but it's the Crocodile Dundee. That's not
Bowie
a
knife.
knife. Bowie knife, yes.
Yeah.
And he has that with him as well. So do you want me to go through stats or what do we go through?
We'll skip over that for now. I
Okay.
need to know about your holding.
Okay, so the holding, I got to choose four positives, two negatives. So but the default you get 75 to 150 souls.
Yep.
4 gigs, a mix of hunting, crude farming, and scavenging. A makeshift compound of concrete, sheet metal, and rebar, which obviously we figured out is
So
the
you
church. Your gang gets 1+1 armor. An armory of scavenged and makeshift weapons, a garage of 4 utility vehicles and 4 specialized battle vehicles, a gang of about 40 violent bastards. But what I also, I chose basically I've changed the population to small.
It's war
so
boys.
It's 50 to 60 souls.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, it's War Boys.
So I want you to write down there under your holding, under want, type anxiety.
Anxiety. Okay.
Write in anxiety under want, and hungry.
And hungry.
Yeah, you got those 2 tags.
Anxious and hungry.
That's only when your holding goes into want,
Same.
Okay.
your
And I also added for gigs, add a manufactory. And then also I also added your gang is well disciplined.
What
Yes.
was your second choice there in the 4?
My second choice is add a manufactory.
Okay, so add under want idle,
Idle.
and the next bit there.
Your gang is well disciplined. So it says drop unruly, but
Yeah, so
didn't have that
originally your
written down.
gang would have had unruly under that, but now they're just
so
2
we're just a
harm and
gang
1
of
armor.
40 bastards.
Yeah, and what's your 4th option?
Your compound is tall, deep, and mighty of stone and iron.
Your gang gets 2 armor when fighting against defense.
Yes. And then the last negative is your garage is for shit. It has only 4 vehicles, and only 2 of them are suitable for battle.
Yeah, in fact, I'm gonna say the old gang. And they just call themselves Old Gang, and they're outside the walls of the church. They broke those vehicles in the garage. They looted some of the stuff. They took some of your supplies. It was a schism in your gang,
Right.
and they now are out in the countryside, out in the wastes just outside the walls of the church.
Right.
And they're rolling around in the vehicles they stole and the parts that they took, and
Right.
they're the former members. Former members of the gang that were in the church,
Right.
and the hold you're in right now is dealing with the loss of that sort of betrayal and mutiny that happened.
Yeah.
And that was something that happened quite recently in the history of this base. Is there a name for your hold? Do we want to give it? Do we want to just call it Bishop Town?
I'll come up with one in the next episode. I'll come up with one
Do
by
we all
then.
want to come up with a name now? What do we want to call the hold?
Oh, the place that we live in? Sanctuary? It's a church.
Ooh, I like that.
So?
Yeah, sanctuary.
The holding of
Thanks, Connell.
Sanctuary.
Seemed fitting.
Yeah.
And I am oftener right.
Mark experience for Steve taking your advice.
I don't care. That's fine.
It works. It works.
Now, you want me to say what moves?
Yeah.
Okay,
Is that
so
how you do that when you mark experience? You just fill in a thing until
Until it's full, and
until
then
it's full, and then you get
level
a
up,
thing,
and it resets
and
you
then it
empty
resets.
of all points.
all right. So I get
Start
I get all the basic moves plus I get both my heart holder moves, which the first one is leadership. When you have to
Yeah,
order,
we don't
your-
have time to read them out.
Oh,
but
leadership
you
and
got
wealth.
Leadership and wealth, and when you know what they read, so when they trigger, we'll deal with them. But a lot of them are at
Sweet.
the beginning of each of your session. You're gonna have to roll for wealth, and whenever you give your gang orders in advance, regroup, hold position, or hold discipline, or to put their damn backs into it. That's what leadership is for. So
Nice.
that's the role you make whenever you're telling your gang to do something.
Okay.
And as well as you've got a lot of barter and options. You can also do gigs, so you can get more barter for your holding. But like your gigs can be things like when you have gifts. Here's what might count as a gift: a month of hospitality, including a base. You actually don't do gigs. You do.
I do gifts.
Your holding provides you your day-to-day living. So while you're there governing it, you need not spend barter for your lifestyle at the beginning of the session. You're the only one who doesn't have to do that. Instead of gigs, you can hand out gifts. You can hand out barter to other players who do things for you. All the other players can do gigs for you, or for NPCs nearby, which we'll fill in now. As what was the you didn't? There's no other moves for you to choose from, is there?
No, it was
It's
just the
all
two.
holding, yeah, because your character is more all about your relationship with the holding.
Yes.
And mostly the rest is then relying on the other players and on the basic moves that everyone has, which, again, we'll get into it when we actually play the first session next week. So the last thing we're going to do in this episode is introduce your history between everyone. It's the final stat that you have to fill in. Each person's going to have a question. It says here, everyone introduces their character by name, look, and outlook. And take your turn. List the other characters' names. Go around so everyone's name, have you listed there in the history box. We have Pity. We have Nelson. Don't call him Rocky. We have Emmanuel. We have Maggie Magnolia.
Emmanuel.
And we have Simon Bishop. And leave a little bit of room so you can put like +1, +2, +3 as you're going to it. And again, these history can go from -3 to +4. Whenever it hits those numbers, it then resets either to 0 or 1, respectively. So, going around, on your turn, ask either or both or however many. Each person has slightly different instructions on how these go. We'll just start with the savvy head, and we're going to go answer these questions.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So ask follow the instructions there.
On your turn, ask either or both. Okay. Which of you is the most strange?
For every character who thinks they're the most strange, you get to write +1 history. So who here thinks they're the most strange? Just raise your hand.
That's great for an audio podcast.
Okay, we've got well, Bree was the only one who raised her hand, so the other
Okay.
three don't see themselves as strange. So mark +1 history next to Pity's name.
Okay, so that's +1, and then the other question we have here is, which one of you is the biggest potential problem?
So out of the 4 of you, which is the biggest potential problem to the savvy head?
I think I'm the only one raising my hand.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it
Okay,
looks like it's
why
Tom.
is the gun lugger the biggest problem?
He's got temper.
Because my character has a death wish. He's got anger problems, and he constantly puts himself in harm's way, and does not play well with others.
So for that character, write HX +2.
And then it says here for the rest, for everyone else, write history -1.
Yeah.
You've got other stuff to do and other stuff to learn.
Oh, so it's -1 on everyone else.
Everyone else who's not weird or a problem, you don't have time to think about. Because you're just focused on your projects.
If they're not strange or violent, then don't look at them. You've
Pretty
got
much.
too much shit to
Because
do.
those are the only 2 things that are going to maybe stop your projects.
Oh my god, that's fantastic. I love it. I love it. All right, sweet.
Okay.
So gun lugger.
Oh man. Okay.
You get to ask. You're going to ask all 3 questions. We got 5 players.
Okay. Here's a good one. Which one of you once left me bleeding and did nothing for me?
So at some point in the past,
Better not be you, Maggie.
one of you left the gunlugger
It's
bleeding.
absolutely not me.
So we got. So
It's
So
Emmanuel.
what happened here? How long ago
Mr.
was
Manny.
this?
See, this
Zach?
explains why I'm a problem for him.
Emmanuel, you left Nelson. Don't call him Rocky. Bleeding and did nothing to help him.
Kenneth Nelson got himself into a fucking situation that I was just like, you know what? I'm done. And
What was
then,
the
like,
situation? Who was it
ooh.
against? Who bled you?
I started a bar fight and I fought like 3 guys.
Was it with
and
one of
they
the old
stabbed.
gang, or with the current gang in the hold?
No, it was a
Wasn't
long
anyone
time
of the
ago.
patrons? No, we're giving that person a name. I'm introducing this character into the narrative. This
Ooh,
person who got
nice.
into the bar fight who left you bleeding. The gunlugger bleeding.
At the
Taser
time, he was
face.
just
Okay, so was the bar fight
Yeah.
in Sanctuary, or was
No.
this another settlement?
This was before we came to Sanctuary.
Okay, give me the name of this bar.
taser.
Taserface. I think it's got
The Rusty Wheel, I guess.
The Rusty Wheel.
The Rusty
Sure.
Wheel.
Out in
I
the
like
west.
that.
Yeah,
The Rusty Wheel way out in the west.
the Rusty Wheel, and then like hanging in front of the door is like a wheel without a tire on it, all rusted to shit, just hanging up there.
And what is it Taserface?
And he fought a guy named Taserface, him and his cronies, and I told you not to fucking pick a fight with him, but no, you had to fucking go pick
Oh,
a
so you
fight.
two were there at the bar together?
Sure.
Yeah.
They smashed a bunch of glasses and
Yeah.
sliced me up.
Yeah,
and
no,
I crawled out of the bar bleeding,
Yeah.
and he was already on his motorcycle or whatever.
Already standing outside, just like, I'm done.
And then the two of you
He
did
probably
this
didn't
shit.
even
I'm
know that I was
out.
bleeding out the
Peace.
steps. He's just like, he started a fight. I'm
And
getting
then
out
you
of
just
here.
left him,
and
then,
I see
and
him
the two of you haven't
leaving
seen
while
each
I'm
other
bleeding.
again until you show up at Sanctuary.
Until we come to Sanctuary. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then you got like, last time you saw me, it was a year ago, and I was bleeding out on the front steps of the Rusty Wheel.
Oh my god, you're still alive.
Oh, you're still here.
This is awkward.
Okay,
So who fought him though?
taser face.
Is he? Are we linking him to?
He's a
No,
raider.
Taserface got into a bar fight at the Rusty
Okay,
Wheel.
all right.
I may decide that he may have shown up in the north of Sanctuary and teamed up with the old gang. Maybe they're looking for a new leader, but that might be
jeez.
something that I would absolutely do as the Master of Ceremonies. You're damn right. Of
Sweet.
course I would.
I'm fucking excited.
What's the second question?
The second question: which one of you has fought shoulder to shoulder with me?
I'll go with that.
Oh,
yeah.
the angels. Oh, did both of you put your hands up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, one of you though. It's only going to be one. Who's fought side by side? Is it going to be Simon or is it going to be Maggie?
Well, Maggie put up her hand first.
Okay, so you fought shoulder to shoulder. Was this after or before the Rusty Wheel incident?
Ooh, maybe it was after her.
Wait, didn't you say
she
you had a
put him back
scar on your
together.
The two of you, did you patch
like
him
Maybe,
up when he was
yeah.
left
That
up
could be
front
the
of steps?
reason.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the Rusty Wheel and Taserface, the Magnolia ends up being your angel and patches you back up, and the two of you go on missions together for a while. And you gun run together.
That's
And
cool.
You got the protection of a good gun lugger.
Yep.
And you're able to do some good helping people, and he's got your back for a while.
Tank medic kind of situation.
Yeah, we got that. Yeah, exactly. We got
No,
the
by the
heavy
way-
and medic. We got the pharmacy.
History is history is asymmetrical. The history that the gun lugger has on you is not the history you have on the gun lugger. So he's
Okay,
gonna
so
get
I'm not
+2, but
adding
you're not
history
adding
on
anything.
this.
It's
Okay.
only to the answers of his
I was
question.
actually about to ask that question, but perfect. Okay.
It's
Okay.
just the time fighting shoulder to shoulder. The gun lugger, he got a good read on you during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so the last question.
Last
That's
question.
+2. This is a +3 history.
Yeah. Which one of you is prettiest and or smartest?
Oh, so we're all humble
Is it
here.
not,
All right,
is it not
that's
going to be Mother
fine.
Superior? Is it not going to be
was gonna-
Magnolia?
All right, yeah, fine. Fuck it, yeah.
I'm pretty smart.
Are you pretty and smart or just pretty smart?
I don't know, man. Fucking.
Which one? So this gets to be actually the gun lugger here. Who do you think is the prettiest or smartest out of the other four characters? that we've
Choose
introduced?
wisely.
Is it the Mother Superior, Simon Bishop? Is it the Angel, Maggie Magnolia? The Brainer? Pity the Fool?
Is it me?
Okay, what?
Or
It's
is
like a
it,
dating sim all of
or
a
is it
sudden.
or is it the old bromance with the savvy head here?
Yeah. Just had too much of your shit and you walked away.
What is your character Pity's sharp stat?
Pity sharp is 2. Like +2.
So is mine.
So
So
you're
is mine.
like hot and sharp. So why are you not the
I'm
prettiest?
not. I'm not.
Well,
hot.
weird and sharp.
I'm weird and sharp.
Hot's in the negatives.
Because I actually took
Oh,
a thing.
hot's in the negatives?
No, I took
She gets to roll
I took
weird
a thing
instead of
to
hot.
Right, it's to roll weird instead of hot.
Oh, I see.
But the weird can be pretty too.
She makes up for her lack of looks with all that kinky shit.
Yeah. Hundo P.
Depends.
I don't know. The fact
on-
that she
Playing
didn't
obscura
volunteer though,
again.
so
It depends on how into confession you are.
I
It's a weird sanctuary, but I love it.
It's been 45 minutes.
think so. It's
Making
like,
this really
since he was the only one who really volunteered, I guess I'll put a manual. But that kind of
Yeah, that brings it up to
undoes.
5. So that means your history is now
No,
at
no, it's
1.
+3.
Yeah, it's +3 +2.
The other one was -2.
Oh, yeah,
it is
that
-2.
was,
So that brings him. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
So it
That-
brings it back up to
it brings
+1.
it now to 1.
So we had a really good friendship, but then I left you at one point,
But
and,
we're
and that fucking hurts you.
It's
a roller coaster of a
+1, so
friendship.
we're still kind of okay. Because he's so smart and pretty.
You fucking picked the third fight that day,
Yeah, exactly.
and
You
I
showed
just
the
left, and you're
sanctuary,
like,
and, you know,
yeah.
The logic is he was right. You shouldn't have gotten in that fight.
He learned his lesson.
Fucking pick the 4th fight that week, and you're just like,
All right,
yeah, okay.
we move over to the heart holder.
Okay.
You got some questions to ask. You're gonna
yes.
go around on your turn. You're gonna ask both of these questions.
Oh, you want me to not just choose either? Do you want me to ask both?
You can choose to ask either or both, but I personally would.
I think I was thinking of both anyway.
We've
But
got
yeah.
enough players here.
Okay.
Let's fill up extra history.
Which one of you has been with me since before?
Which one of you has been with Simon Bishop since before Sanctuary?
There you go.
All right.
I'm working for
Yeah,
you.
you're
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Basically become his inquisitor.
So you get a +2.
So you get plus for that character, right? +2.
Yep.
And then the second question.
Second question is, which one of you is betrayed or stolen from me?
Is it gonna be? Is it gonna be the good doctor?
No, I've done enough bad things.
Who has
Maybe
stolen
that's
from
your thing.
Sanctuary?
I'm just,
Or who is
fucking-
currently stealing from Sanctuary?
I know better than to do that. Do I?
This can be Steve. If no one's gonna answer, you get to
All right.
determine.
I get to
Oh,
choose.
be me.
Oh.
I didn't steal, but I did betray you.
+3 to you.
+3, wow.
+3.
What, +3?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He knows him real well now. So there was a time he betrayed you,
Yeah.
and we obviously we've got this like before time. We don't need to fill in the detail. I think we all know what that means. But which one of
Probably.
you betrayed or so? So some time ago, at the early days of Sanctuary, before the old gang broke free, did you break free with the old gang and have since come back to Sanctuary?
Oh.
Actually, here's what I'm thinking. If you'll allow this, part of the rules of Sanctuary is that you're not supposed to tell anyone outside where Sanctuary is.
Ooh.
And I got into a fight and I led a whole gang right to Sanctuary.
By accident or like on purpose?
Well, by accident / on purpose. Because
So I thought of it as
I
like you did
knew
this
that-
on purpose, but in reality it was more
well, see,
likely.
I was
yeah.
in trouble,
It could be both.
and I was going to Sanctuary for help, and I knew that I was leading this gang to you,
Sure.
but I did anyway.
So it's due to
Okay.
your negligence then.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I just didn't care.
That was a fuck up. Is that a betrayal?
Yes, because I should have known
I
better.
could have taken it
Yeah.
as a betrayal.
True, actually. You could have taken it as that.
This
Yeah.
was against the rules, and I specifically went against them.
Yeah, because I could be like extremely
You're right,
like
and you know what?
we only have a few like rules in Sanctuary.
Where old gang used
But
to only
there
be
are-
15
they are
people,
hard rules.
It's growing now. It's now that gang outside the walls now outnumbers the gang inside the walls because of
Fair.
Oh wow.
because of the actions of
Yeah,
your
but I get a fucking church.
But yeah, well, that's the thing, is that
The fuck off laser.
they have numbers, but we have a fortress.
Yeah,
right?
you've got the defense of the
Yeah.
super fort,
Yeah.
but they're growing in number now that you've already led them here once.
Yep.
They can start putting the word out.
Yeah.
Like, this place
That's-
is big.
that's the
this place is
betrayals,
heavy.
because, like,
we
yeah.
got a new home here, boys. All we gotta do is knock down the gates. So
Yeah.
If we could
okay.
just do something about that laser.
Oh, this laser is gonna
which is
happen.
right now, I
Yes.
think we've already established as a MacGuffin rule of deterrent that doesn't actually do anything.
If we could
Like-
only do
So
something.
that could be the secret thing.
about
Basically,
that.
like there
You
is a
just
fuck off
flash
place
it
on
in
the
his
roof,
eyes to
but
say-
secretly the Doc and I are like the only ones like we know.
How-
Okay, we really
How
need
does
to get this thing
Sanctuary
working.
generate power?
Huh?
How does Sanctuary generate power
Solar.
to generate a giant
a
laser?
giant laser
Solar.
cannon.
How does the solar work in the dust storms?
Oh, in the dust storms.
Reality's fraying edge. I've got some kind of component that fucking does that.
You've got a power generator in the basement, and you just don't tell anyone how it works.
I don't tell anyone where the electricity
It
comes
glows
from because
purple.
it
It's run by
comes from the
mice.
fucking maelstrom. And it's stable, but I don't like talking about it.
or it's
It's powered by the screams of the damned.
yeah, perfect.
We'd go in and raid that
The
church,
screams,
but there's
the
a
screams of the damned come
giant
from confession.
fucking laser
Yes.
up at the bell tower.
She feeds the screams of the damned. Yeah, she feeds the laser.
And there's just
gonna-
Dr. Goldman sitting up in the bell tower with his laser gun. Just, I fucked
I'm
your
just
mom, shit
putting-
lips.
All right, that's good. I like that. I'm beginning to like you a lot. I like you a lot.
And for the hard holder,
Yeah.
for everyone else,
I get a plus
write
one to
plus
everybody.
one. It's in your interest to know everyone's business.
So Pity gets a +3. So now, okay, it's a plus. now it'll
for
be a
everyone
+4.
else, also for the gun lugger, write down -1 for everyone who didn't answer your question. You
Yeah, he's
find
done that.
no interest. You find no
Yeah, he's
particular
already-
need to understand most people.
So sorry, what's the rule about going past 3?
Going past 4. When you
Go
hit
past 4.
you
I've
reset.
got so much history on you.
Yeah, when you hit 4, you reset to 1 and you mark experience.
Okay, because he's hit 4 on him.
Have you already hit 4?
He's already at 4.
So
yeah.
then reset to 1
Okay.
And then
and
mark
mark
some
experience.
Okay.
They kind of work. It's an engine. You fuel it with
Sure.
history, and then you keep leveling your character.
So basically, the only one I have most history on is Pity. That works.
It's okay. We have history.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the history
So
you have with Nelson is of a different. It's a deeper sort than the history you have with Pete,
Right.
because it's already leveled up once.
Yeah. Oh, it's like yeah. So
Mechanically, it's a 1, but because it's already leveled up and reset to 1, you've got more. You still have more history with him.
Yes.
It's just it bounces between those two numbers.
okay, fair.
Angel. We have Magnolia. You
Yep.
get to roll. On your turn, you're going to ask, 1, 2, or all 3? I just suggest we do all 3.
Yeah, why not? It sounds like a fun time.
What's your first question?
Let's do it. I'm excited for this one. Which one of you do I figure is doomed for self-destruction? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we got a bunch of
it
hands
was just
going
a
up, so
fucking race.
Cassie, you're the ref here. Who do you think is
Yeah,
doomed for
I'm
most destruction?
I'm thinking it's probably Nelson because I just witnessed him get into another fucking bar fight again.
It's the death
Again.
wish.
That's how you found him.
Yeah.
Was almost dead.
And I died like, what did you do?
And
Fourth fight today.
Sanctuary needs a 12-step program for rageaholics.
so that's history too.
It's a one-step program. It's called
Sorry, that's history -2.
Yeah, it's history. Yeah,
It's
-2.
a one-step program.
So here's the
called
thing.
confession.
Well, you've got a lot of history
love
with
it.
Magnolia because she sees you as so doomed. She doesn't really understand you.
Yeah.
From her direction,
You're just like
she
a loose
doesn't
cannon.
Get you at all? You're just like what motivates you. She doesn't understand that at all. It's in the negatives. And if it goes down 1 more, it'll reset to 0, and you'll get experience.
Sweet.
So there's like in your end, there's some incentive to strain that relationship even more. Your second question.
Which one of you put a hand in when it mattered and helped me save a life?
I'll do it. Yeah.
Was that is now you get to decide? Is that going to be Simon Bishop or is it going to be Emmanuel? Is it Emmanuel or Emmanuel?
Emmanuel Goldman.
Emmanuel.
Manuel,
Gold.
I think, is kind of isn't that like the female version?
No.
I guess
like-
No, it's
ELLE,
it depends where you are.
It means glory to God.
I guess.
That's what
Well, I
it
know
means.
it's just like the difference between Michael and Michelle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you're also in Quebec, it doesn't. It becomes Michel.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, tough one.
You get
I'm
to be
thinking-
the
So
tiebreaker.
I
Which
have-
one of you
French
put
is
a
what
hand
you're
in when it
saying.
matters, and then I'm gonna ask you
It's a
some questions to
French
find out
Jew.
what that was, what
Yeah.
they did.
God.
So I can almost think of reasoning behind both. I could be talking to the mad scientist, like, hey, I need something real crazy to save this dude.
Or it could have just been a place literally called Sanctuary.
Yeah. Where right? So I'm stuck because I have reason to choose either or, really.
So
If it's our heart holder, though, like that could be why you're staying in Sanctuary, right?
Yeah.
Like he helped you when you needed it, so now
Yeah,
you're
I
helping
could've
did
him
taken
by
you
you in.
staying.
show up at the front doors of Sanctuary with a bleeding out dead gunlugger? And you needed a place
It's
to
all
patch
coming
him up.
together.
And that was
It's
the
all
helping
coming
hand
together.
to help save. Actually, was the gunlugger's life that you were saving.
That's
All
you.
right. No,
Makes
this is
sense.
cool. I like
And
this.
you know what? You showed up at the gates of Sanctuary. You didn't know about it. No one had told you about it. The gates were closed.
It was a
Simon
sense-
Bishop
it
was
was
looking
a-
out over the rampart, and he opened the gates to let you in so you could patch up your man.
It was you were in the middle of a dust storm. You didn't know where you were, and you somehow found Sanctuary.
All right, so that's a +2 for Simon then.
The Maelstrom brought them here.
Yeah.
And then, just as you're patched up, the good doctor here is already working in Sanctuary. And he's like, ah, fuck. There he is.
I
There's your
can't
old pal
escape
Nelson.
you.
Of course, I like to think that Emmanuel, you're the only one who calls Nelson Rocky.
I
Like,
think that
all
no,
the time.
I was going to be the only person that calls him Kenneth.
Kenneth.
I like it.
It's good, it's good.
Kenneth Nelson.
Last question. that you
Last
have.
question. Which one of you has been beside me all along and has seen everything I've seen?
Well, that obviously can't be me.
Do you want? No, you could bring in the brainer as well. Like I know she's got this mysterious history going on, but maybe the history you have with her goes even further back than the history you have with Nelson.
Could be.
Yeah, maybe.
Which one of you has been beside Magnolia the whole time and everything that she's seen, you've seen? I mean, it makes sense right now that it's Nelson. That's kind of the story we've
It
already
could
got.
be that.
The two of
Yeah.
you,
It could be that.
we've established the two of you are running
that-
together.
It could be that Pity had been with her, and she keeps telling her about.
Oh, you got an
If you
idea
ever
there,
need any
Carl?
help, go to Sanctuary.
I got an idea that once upon a time it wasn't just Nelson and Goldman traveling together. It was actually the three of them. And at one point, Nelson got into one too many fights. Goldman eventually threw up his hands and said, "This is too dangerous. It's not worth my time," and left. And Angel was the only person that stayed there to patch him up. You were the one who kept saying that he could be fixed and he did better things, and Goldman kept saying that he wasn't worth the time and he was too dangerous to have around. And that one bar fight was the splitting point, where he was just
Literally
like,
splitting.
"You're going to stay, but I'm leaving." And then that's when he trucked
And then
out on
shortly
his own.
after you set up this maelstrom antenna in the basement, your two old buddies show up at the front door again. Like the psychic storm brought them back to you. And you're getting all superstitious again. But mark down,
I like that.
Mark down 3 history with Goldman, because I like that it doesn't negate the -2 history you've already got with Nelson. It keeps
Yeah.
things polarized.
Yeah, that's true.
For everyone else, write history +1. For everyone who didn't answer the question, you keep your eyes open.
Yep. So +1 for Pity.
Okay, and at the very
Yay.
end of the episode, we now reach our brainer.
Hi.
Hi, Brainer.
Hi.
Hello.
So I have 3 questions. Which one of you has slept in my presence, knowingly or unknowingly?
I think it's gonna
Way to make it
that's-
weird.
That's gonna
have
be
to
me.
be
Is that
him.
Bishop?
Yeah.
It's probably Bishop, yeah.
All right, so +2
Alright.
history to Bishop.
I'll flip back.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's,
Yeah,
that's
so
fair.
that's plus, what was that? Sorry? +2.
I like to think that perhaps Pity was in Sanctuary before it was a hard hold. And you all just kind of
just
showed up and went, this church
haunting
could be
it.
great. And it's like, well, it's been my home, but you can use it too.
Or they didn't even know
And
she was there,
She
and
was
she
here
just kind of
before
crept into
Sanctuary.
the
She'll be
group.
here after Sanctuary.
I
The
just
Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I just showed up and read all your memory cards. I see you've been playing Super Mario Sunshine.
Hells yeah! Hells yeah! You've been playing Castlevania, haven't you?
What's your second question? What's your second question?
Which one of you have I been watching carefully in secret?
You get to answer this
Ooh.
one.
Oh, do I?
Yeah,
I get
this
to
is a
answer
little
this
too
one.
intimate. Which one of these four have you been watching carefully in secret? Who are you most interested in?
I think I'm going to watch Emmanuel because he made the Maelstrom generator. And since I have such a strong connection with the Psychic Maelstrom, that's a thing that interests me.
+2 on the good doctor.
+2 on you, doctor.
And which one of you evidently dislikes and distrusts the brainer? Gunmonger's hand shoots right up into the air.
Yeah. That wasn't shooting up. It shot up when they said who's on a path to self-destruction.
Oh, yeah.
So the Gunlonger doesn't trust you. And
Yeah.
for everyone else, right, +1, you have weird insights into everyone. And we now have, I've got some history here with the Rusty Wheel and the old gang now growing with the histories of Sanctuary and our characters. We reached the end of our first episode, went a little bit over time, but we have now our characters and their connections to each other and the story of Sanctuary, the rumor of a hammer, the influence of the Psychic Maelstrom, already a little bit stronger than I thought it would be, and how will Pity, Emmanuel, Simon, Maggie, and Nelson all interact with each other? We'll find out next week in our Road to Con Bravo campaign, Apocalypse World. And if you come back on Thursday, the first episode of Derek's game where they're running Apocalypse World on their end of the country, it's going to be completely different over there.
Yeah.
And somehow we're going to bring both of those campaigns together for a final episode, episode 5, recorded live at Con Bravo. So here for the Terrible Warriors in Toronto for the, the Sanctuary campaign, we have myself, Master of Ceremonies, Justin Eacock, with my players around the table.
I am Toronto's greatest supervillain, evil genius, Dr. Terwat, playing Dr. Emmanuel Goldman.
I'm Tom. He is an evil genius white from Weird Video Games, and I'm playing Ken Nelson.
I'm Steve Saylor, also known as Blind Gamer on YouTube, and I'm playing the Heart Holder, Simon Bishop, otherwise known as Mother Superior.
I'm Cassie D20 Love Chew, and I am playing Magnolia Stone, the medic, the angel.
I'm Bree Poison, and I'm playing I Hope You Like Confessional, the brainer.
And until next time,
Die loud.
take it away, Justin. The Terrible Warriors release new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday, and the Toronto crew will return to the Apocalypse World of our Sanctuary campaign next week, and every Tuesday in July. And if you return to us on Thursday, we continue our Apocalypse World game, but this time it's the Edmonton crew's turn. Another campaign running in tandem that will reach its conclusion in the last weekend of July, live at Con Bravo. You can find everything about Con Bravo at 2017.conbravo.com. And along with Terrible Warriors like Tom, he's an evil genius white, and Derek the Bard, there's also Terrible Warrior alumni Big Mike running D20 Live, Cassie Chu down in the Indie Showcase, Anthony Sardina of Team 4-Star, the Nostalgia Critic, and more. You can get your tickets now, and we will see you there in the last weekend of July. And as we barrel towards our season finale, there's still time for you to sign up as a Patreon supporter to get access to our completed campaigns and all the debrief episodes we've released since September. You will still get a postcard sent to you from the month of July to you directly, and you can do all of that at patreon.com/Terrible Warriors. I've rejigged some of our milestones, and you'll see that we're very close to being able to do some very cool things like more live shows. And if you'd like to get involved in the conversation, follow us on Twitter at Dice Warriors, like us on Facebook, subscribe to the podcast, and share it with your friends. Today's Terrible Warriors and your denizens of Sanctuary were Bree Poison, Connell Macbeth, Tom White, Cassie Chu, Steve Saylor, and Justin Eacock. And we will return to the Apocalypse World on Thursday with the Edmonton crew. And the Toronto crew of Sanctuary will see you again on Tuesday, right here on the Terrible Warriors.